When it comes to income planning, the idea is to invest sensibly and continue to save and then delay retirement as long as possible. Now, that's the conventional wisdom about retirement planning, but you also have to consider what your income needs will be in retirement. And joining me here to talk about this is Anna Downs in Superior, Wisconsin. So, Anna, talk about how you transition a portfolio to retirement.
The number one thing that you need to do is consider the fact that you're going from growth to income, which is going to dramatically shift the way that you invest and have been investing up to this point. The thing we like to first consider is your actual income needs. What are your monthly expenses? Are you planning to travel where you're going to be taking a larger lump sum out at some point every year? Those things are important to note because we really need to work backwards from your monthly or annual expenses and then placing a dollar amount on that we know needs to be withdrawn from your investments every month. The other thing that we need to consider is, do you have a pension or are you eligible for Social Security at this time? Those are two areas that we first and foremost look at and then bridge that income with your investments.
Now, a common drawdown strategy is called the 4% rule, which was something created back in the 90s. Is that still relevant today?
Although the 4% rule is a good starting place, it really isn't as relevant as it used to be back in the 1990s. Due to inflation and market fluctuation, really today we should be utilizing 2.8 to 3%, yet we could still slightly depend on that 4% depending on your longevity. It is something that they used to utilize when they had looked at a 50% equity, 50% bond portfolio, and needed to spend that money down over a 30-year time frame. If longevity in your family is much higher and your health is good, it is something that we need to back down slightly on and potentially look at a 2.8% or 3% withdrawal rate.
So Social Security typically is a significant part of a retiree's retirement income. How do you know when to take benefits?
One thing that we look at is, first and foremost, what are your other assets? Do you need to supplement with Social Security early? If that's the case, we really like to look at what is the Social Security that you're eligible for right now. If we delayed and took more out of your investments, what is the break-even point for delaying? How many years do you have to live beyond the time that you started taking Social Security versus the time that you waited and delayed? The other aspect to that is, do you have a spouse that's going to be dependent on income in the future? Some of the other investment assets might be better off staying in place until later in your retirement years to start drawing income from, just to continue to preserve those investments for your spouse or other children.
And then finally, for income, how do you approach tax planning?
The number one area that I look at is if somebody is retiring prior to Medicare age. Because individual health insurance costs are driven on your taxable income, it's important if you are retired prior to Medicare age that we look at some of your taxable investments and utilize after-tax investments first. For example, if you have a Roth account or a non-qualified account, we may look at spending down those assets in your early years of retirement to keep your taxable income lower, which will directly correlate with your health insurance premiums.
That's Anna Downs in Superior, Wisconsin. Thank you for watching this episode of Retirement News Online.